I think that is recording. I just realised how horrible of a frame this is. Oh. It'd be nice if the sun wasn't raining down on me. That's a cool background. Okay. I'm gonna do one of those like aesthetic openings. That might have sounded awful. Look at this. Aesthetic. It looks like I'm drinking piss. But this is so aesthetic. Apparently, it's a thing that I use the backrooms to talk about a video game I'm critiquing from a franchise that I really like. I didn't mean for this, I just have a lot to say about the backroom. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach is the 13th game in the FNAF series, and I think it's safe to say people didn't really like it. I tried to be objective when talking about media, but it's fairly easy to understand why. There are countless problems. Some will cite the bugs as the main one, but I personally think the biggest problem is that it's not very scary. Its large map isn't utilised very well, and the amount of space means that it is easy to go long stretches of time without coming across any of the scripted horror segments. Having said that, I do have a special place in my heart for Security Breach. It was my first Five Nights at Freddy's game that I really got into. And the sun and moon section of it is fucking terrifying, actually. Like, I've seen a lot of people beat it without much effort, but it's scary. I'm scared, I'm afraid. When Ruin, the DLC for Security Breach, came out, it was clear that Steelwood took several steps in rectifying the issues with the first game. It's less buggy, the map is less open world, meaning the game is overall paced much better, and the environment and character designs have had much more thought put into their purpose and scariness. However, there's a key problem with the game that I'm going to delve into today, which I think negates all of the positives that have come from Ruin, and the problem is the presence of threat within the game. As you play through, it becomes abundantly clear that this game was not built to be a challenge. For the majority of the game, the only threat that you're close to has no power over your life, as the entity cannot directly kill you. I understand the concept, and I think it could have been incredibly powerful. A looming figure that stalks slowly closer to you is something that has a lot of horror potential. And the way it acts akin to the staff bots in the main game was something that I personally was hoping would be included in Ruin. The problem arises in the fact that the animatronics that the entity summons are laughably easy to evade. There are several segments, the Monty underwater segment as an example, where the threat presented from the animatronics is negligible, which completely eliminates any sense of fear that they might have brought. And it's clear that the game devs knew this as well, as they've implemented cutscene jump scares, as if they know that a player may never come across a jump scare in a playthrough due to how easy the game is. Even the segment that was so well executed in the base game, the daycare section, lost its spark in the DLC, as Moon doesn't chase you around the environment that is no longer a maze of tunnels and is instead a path that you follow until you win. The lack of any significant threat destroys the stakes of the game. Any misstep that the player makes has no real consequence, and so the player feels little emotional attachment to the game. They don't have to care when they're given success so easily. This lack of attachment to the game significantly reduces the overall scariness of it, along with the constant knowledge that there is no real reason to be scared. So, there, we figured it out. Well done, guys, we've solved it. Don't look at the title of the video or the runtime. We have the definitive answer that Security Breach Ruin is not scary because there is very little threat. Yeah, that's true. That's something I stand by. Okay, let's do that now. Let's delve into that. The source of fear in the backrooms is something that can be difficult to place, mainly because it's a very personal experience. I've talked plenty before about how the backrooms are scary due to their liminality, the focus on a transitional space evoking an uncanny feeling. While this is true, I think it's important to look further into this to figure out why adding threat to the backrooms takes away some of the fear that they provoke. So, why do these transitional spaces create such an uncanny feeling? I personally think that it has something to do with the human desire to complete a goal. There have been numerous psychological studies into the retention of information in relation to the completion of a task that suggested that when a person is not allowed to fully complete a task, it stays in their mind for much longer and compels them to complete it. When faced with the concept of the backrooms, a person is faced with a goal, reaching a destination that will never be completed. With the introduction of a threat to the backrooms, you take away this unreachable completion by making it reachable. While death is scary, it's an end to the backrooms in some way, meaning that a destination has been arrived at. The source of the fear in Ruin, however, is derived from the threat itself. Without spooky animatronics hunting you down, you're just exploring an environment. There is no horror there. Ruin is not a game designed to play on the fear of endlessness. The source of fear in Ruin is the fear of death. So when you take away the threat, and therefore take away this fear, you're left without any horror. So, how could Ruin be improved? The obvious answer is to make the animatronics a more present threat, have more complex chase sequences, make the camera sections more difficult, make the AI not absolute ass. But then what? Improvements like that take time and money and can make the game more tedious for less skilled players if not balanced appropriately. So what if we could swing to the other side of the dichotomy? In order for a game to be scary without a present threat, the source of fear needs to be something intangible. Luckily, we have just that, with the ever-present mimicry and, of course, the big twist of Grimmick. I think the concept of perfect AI mimicry is something that could be terrifying and was completely underutilized in Ruin. It plays on the uncanny valley and could be used to give a more personal connection to the player, with some slight story changes and some subtle writing to implement this idea throughout the climax as well as the rest of the game. It could have been so much more impactful even with the lack of physical threat. Death is scary, sure, but so is the concept that you can't trust the voices of your friends and that your love is being taken advantage of. At the end of the day, the presence of a threat is something that has to be treated with care in any media, as too much or too little can throw off the horror aspects. There's no finite solution to the introduction of threat, and each game or piece of media needs to find its own balance between tangible and intangible horror. The most important thing about any horror media is knowing where fear comes from and how to direct it. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Please leave a comment and tell me what you think. I don't care about if you subscribe or not, I just like reading comments. Once again, I have linked some videos that I like in reference to this video, and once again, Pastor is there because I love that spooky guy so much and he makes great videos. I really hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in like 5 months, probably. Actually, little secret, I'm filming 2 videos in one day, so maybe it will be a reasonable time until the next one. I think this one's going to come out first, but who knows really. Also, do you like the background? I'm not going to change it if you don't, because this is just my bedroom, but it'd be nice if you like the background to be like, hey Finn, you're so cool! Okay, bye. Okay. Ah, fucking hell. I should grab one of my little guys. But I am genuinely scared of the sun and moon section. And I feel like it sounds like I'm lying. I'm trying to be aesthetic. I've got my little thing, but it does just look like piss. Or beer, but I don't drink beer. I don't drink piss either. The steel wool took several... Sepsis! So, stop yapping, Finn.